Welcome to History's Darkest Questions. Today's video is The Bridge on the River Kwai, the real story behind the POWs Ordeal, TW's Thailand-Burma Railway. The bridge on the River Kwai was not just a thrilling movie plot, it was a horrific reality for thousands of Allied prisoners of war during World War II. The story behind the Thailand-Burma Railway, often referred to as the Death Railway, is a testament to human suffering and resilience unimaginable to those who were not there to witness it. What truly unfolded along those tracks? Prepare yourself for a journey into one of the darkest episodes of human endurance and cruelty. Thousands of Allied soldiers, primarily British, Australian, Dutch, and American, were captured by the Japanese during campaigns in Southeast Asia. They were transported to work camps in Thailand and Burma under conditions that violated every sense of humanity and decency. The Japanese military's goal was to build a railway that would facilitate troop movement and supplies from Bangkok to Rangoon, a distance of over 250 miles through treacherous terrain. What they needed was labor, and what they had were prisoners whose lives were deemed expendable. The men who became known as the Railway Men faced horrifying conditions. Disease was rampant, with malaria, cholera, and dysentery taking more lives than any other single cause. The lack of adequate medical supplies and proper treatment only exacerbated the suffering. Those prisoners who showed signs of weakness or illness were often left untreated, forced to work until they could no longer move, often dying by the side of the tracks on which they toiled. Captors showed little to no regard for the dignity or lives of these men, treating them as nothing more than tools to be used until broken. Starvation was a constant companion, as food rations were meager and nutrition was almost non-existent. Prisoners subsisted on rice, occasionally flavored with bits of whatever vegetables or protein the Japanese guards could be bothered to provide. The combination of malnutrition and overwork led to emaciated bodies and weakened spirits. Each day became a struggle for survival, with many soldiers relying on each other for the emotional and moral support needed to face another grueling day. Work conditions themselves were a direct route to death. Men were forced to labor up to 18 hours a day, enduring extreme heat and pouring rain. Those who faltered under the strain were beaten mercilessly by their captors. Injuries were frequent, and with no medical care, even a small wound could become a death sentence. Cases of tropical ulcers and gangrene were commonplace, adding to the sheer agony experienced by the men. Among the most infamous portions of the railway construction was the Hellfire Pass, a particularly grueling excavation through solid rock. The task of carving out this pass required men to chisel away at the rock face for hours on end, often with nothing more than rudimentary hand tools. The name Hellfire Pass itself came from the eerie glow of the torches used at night, casting shadows on the emaciated figures toiling away, giving the impression of a scene from hell. The psychological torment of such relentless labor under these grotesque conditions pushed many to the edge of sanity. To add to the torment, those who tried to escape were met with severe punishment or execution. The Japanese policy was clear: zero tolerance for escape attempts. Punishments were brutal and public, often serving as a harsh reminder to other prisoners of their grim reality. Executions, often preceded by torture, were designed to instill fear and ensure compliance. The image of comrades being beaten to death or hung by the railway became seared into the minds of survivors. Remarkably, despite these conditions, stories of courage and humanity still emerged. Instances of prisoners risking their lives to help their comrades, small acts of defiance, and even the occasional act of sabotage are woven into the dark tapestry of the Death Railway. These snippets of bravery provide stark contrast to the inhumanity, showcasing the resilience of the human spirit even in the worst of times. By the time the railway was completed, it is estimated that over 12,000 Allied prisoners of war and up to 90,000 civilian laborers had perished in its construction. Their bodies, often simply left where they fell, were buried in makeshift graves along the track's route. The bridge over the River Kwai itself remains a symbol of their suffering and sacrifice, a stark reminder of the brutality of war and the high cost of human conflict. The war eventually ended, and Allied forces liberated the prisoners, but the physical and psychological scars carried by the survivors would last a lifetime. Post-war trials saw some Japanese officials held accountable for the atrocities committed, but for many, justice was an incomplete and painful journey. The legacy of the Thailand-Burma Railway remains a poignant reminder of the capacity for human cruelty and the enduring strength of those who survived its horrors. Though the railway has largely returned to the jungle, reclaimed by the passage of time, memories of the bridge on the River Kwai endure. These memories serve not just as a grim history lesson, but as a testament to human endurance, a warning of the depths of depravity achievable in war, and an enduring story of survival against almost insurmountable odds.